Welcome back. Let's start the news front page review with The Nation. Major headline: Wike scam slams Atiku over divide and rule in PDP. Governor tightens hold on Rivers chapter. In other news, we have NCDC. Nigeria records 24 cases of monkeypox in 1 week. Amusa Brume break Commonwealth record. Jay's Bank rakes in 2.54 billion naira profit in 6 months. Umana demands end to oil theft in Niger Delta. Air Force kills terrorist leader. 27 insurgents neutralized. There's a picture of the governor. The Red Rail project is on course. That's what the picture depicts. We have the governor pointing to the project. And in other news, we have Oyo won't return schools to owners, says government. Gun runners arrested. And finally, NDLEA arrests 90-year-old suspected bandits, drug suppliers at Lagos Airport. So, what are we starting with?
A subsidy. FAC demands petrol consumption records from NNPC. So the story goes that Federal Account Allocation Committee has asked that NNPC gives a state-to-state consumption records of consumption of petroleum products in 2021, the entire year. They're asking that they need it per state to understand how the NNPC is running what they call the Mortem Subcommittee final report. They want that report submitted to help them understand how it's being consumed. And the NNPC went further to try to explain some of their issues. They said that the sinking fund that they had was approved by the president. That Mr. President approved the utilization of the dividend stream and all recovered outstanding legacy debt from the operations of AFAM 4 and Okpai JV independent power projects by NNPC Gas and Power Investment Company, the NGPIC, for funding of future investment in other projects between 2014 till date. So some of these figures I read, and it was more confusing in the NNPC response to understand how. So presently, the president is the Minister for Petroleum and has the final order. And the CBN just recently said NNPC has not remitted any amount of money to the federal account from the sale of petroleum products. NNPC, in their defense, also in this report says that they have been using that to pay subsidy. And so they've been overwhelmed. But now they are trying to understand and investigate all the issues NNPC has, and they're asking how much gong are they consuming per state. So I think
they asked how much gong.
So Nigeria recorded 24 new cases of monkeypox in the last week of July. This is according to the latest epidemiological report of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC. And these new cases has made the total number of persons that have contracted the disease between January 1st and July 31st, 157. Now, out of the 24 cases, they said Ondo State has 5, Lagos and Kano 3 each, Abia, Adamawa, Bayelsa and Kwara 2 each, and Delta, Anambra, Gombe, Rivers and Nasarawa 1 each. The NCDC report also showed that between January and July 31st, positive cases increased to 157, and there have been 4 deaths. Wow. Which was recorded in 4 states, Lagos, Delta, Ondo, and Akwa Ibom. And they went ahead to give all, there's a lot of information here. However, they are saying that they have enhanced surveillance at national and subnational levels with improved case detection and reporting. They also said they have 2 laboratories now that are going to be testing for this new virus called the Marburg disease. They said they received information that this has broken out in Ghana. And so these 2 laboratories are found in National Reference Laboratory in Abuja and the University of Lagos Teaching Hospital Laboratory. And they are saying they are going to try as much as possible to make sure that most of the states will have some of these laboratories so that they can easily start getting samples. It's more like projecting that the Marburg virus will come to Nigeria
as well.
Yes, so I've got military airstrikes, kill bandits, warlord Abdul Karim boss. So they say Abdul Karim Lawal is his name. He's a well-known, notorious terrorist, has been under the radar of our military for some time now, evaded all sorts of, attacks against him. But this time, he and 27 of his other foot soldiers were eliminated. Well done to our military. And he's well known for being in the Katsina area. He's known for kidnappings, cattle rustling, just so many things, insurgency. And this airstrike, they say, came as a result of the recent, talks with the presidents and the chiefs of air staff and their our service chiefs, to put in more work or just change strategy. And so this is the outcome of the change in strategy and momentum. We're so happy because he's well known for, there was a particular person, police officer, Nigerian police area commander, who Abdulkarim Boss had claimed to have killed in one of his attacks. So this is good news to our military and for all of us.
We need to acknowledge because the stories of when bandits attack goes viral, but the stories of when Air Force successfully attacks bandits and kills terrorists doesn't go viral as much. So we should talk about the successes of the Air Force raid. Let me take the story. NDLEA released several reports from the spokesperson, Femi Babafemi, who said that the 90-year-old former retired soldier was caught with drugs to supply to bandits. This 90-year-old man had 5.1 kg of cannabis. He was caught within the Sokoto area. He was going to supply bandits good. They also caught a pastor, Pastor F. Young, who was going to take drugs into Cameroon. He was going to take Nkurumiri into Cameroon about the crystal meth. He was moving it as well.
Is he still a pastor if he's doing
Yes, about 4 kg. They also seized many people that are packaging. So these are not with people. They just shipments going to India, shipments going to Indonesia, Australia, Philippines, from Korea companies. Different sizes of crystal meth were being shipped out. They also found cannabis 3 kg going to...
That's Nkurumiri.
Yes. The cannabis going to Dubai as well. And they caught a man. He's a man from Edo State. His name is Ovia, from Ovia local government. His name is Solo Osamede. He ingested 41 wraps, of heroin, and he was forced to stool it out. We keep taking these stories about NDLEA suspects so that people cannot be deceived to think they can escape with what they are doing, because NDLEA is up on it, and we must applaud what NDLEA is doing. Moving on to the Punch, major headline: no going back on Buhari's impeachment, aggrieved lawmakers. Impeachment threats not withdrawn. Insecurity still persists, Deputy Minority Whip says. And the big picture: Lagos Rail opens 2023 to transport 500,000 people daily. In other news, soldiers, Amoteku, comb forest for Lautech student Skila. It's pathetic. Eniobong labored in vain. Murdered job seeker's sister speaks. Drivers kill woman. Bystander. Hoodlum steal deceased phone. That's another sad human interest story. Nigeria needs 21 trillion to bridge housing deficit. That's from Bank of Industry, BOI. Strike. PTA demands federal government ASUU parents confab. Federal government to implement telecom bill taxes in 2023. UK Museum to return 72 looted Benin bronzes. Debt servicing to hit 10 trillion naira. Economists slam federal government. So what are we starting with?
Let me start with the good news. UK Museum to return 72 looted Benin bronzes. Ronima Museum and Gardens in South East London has agreed to return 72 bronzes looted from us, Nigeria, former British colony. They said that parts of the items that would be returned are 12 brass plaques known as Benin bronzes, a brass cockerel altarpiece, ivory, brass ceremonial object, brass bells, and a key to the King's Palace. These were taken away from us in 1897 during the British military incursion. And, On our own part, we're happy to receive this. We are happy that the long conversation has finally got us here. And then in the future, there's a, sort of an agreement, a discussion on loan agreements where there will be collaboration between the National Commission for Museums and Monuments and this particular museum, the Honeyman Museums. Just maybe we'll do some
exchange a few times.
Exchange, we loan them maybe for some exhibitions, but they now know that it is ours and returning back home. So it's now for us to
carry it with pride. Carry it with pride.
And it remains there. We don't want to hear that
something happened to it.
We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the front page review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. So we're still reviewing the front pages and we're in the Punch. BC, you have a story.
Yes. So a yet-to-be-identified woman was crushed to death by the driver of a Toyota Highlander at a Repo bus stop in the Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State. And they said that she was about crossing the road when she was knocked down. And after that, the victim, sped off. They said, according to an eyewitness, he said that the impact broke her neck and and she died on the spot. So some commuters in their vehicles decided to chase down this driver, but they couldn't get him. And finally, they had to call the FRSC. And when they got there, they said they were not there, so they couldn't get the plate number of the driver. So the driver is still at large right now, but the woman has been taken to the hospital. Now, residents of the area are saying that they need a pedestrian bridge across that road. About 5 people have died just recently trying to cross the road. So I think the government needs to do something.
I thought they said they stole the deceased phone.
Yes, immediately her phone was taken.
Can you imagine? They couldn't take the picture of the number of the car, but they could steal the phone.
We, the people, they couldn't reach family members.
So sad.
So I have how 50 billion Nimasa.
No, that's in Sun.
Oh, okay, we're still in Punch.
Yes, we're still in Punch.
I wanted to take the rail lines.
Yes, please.
Lagos, it's going to serve my corridor. So the 4th visit this year, the governor says that the project will now be concluded in 2023. Yeah, they earlier said to be by the end of 2022, but I guess, contractors and their work. He says that, they're very impressed. And he said something that impressed me. He said they've spent extensive amounts of money in terms of compensation to residents that are affected by these rails. The expansion, some buildings that I am aware, I knew in the beginning, were affected. I've heard of family members who says that they've been waiting forever for their compensation. I love that he has addressed it, and I hope that they ensure that everybody gets their monies. And the red line, according to him, will carry daily 500,000 commuters in and out of our area, and that alone is compensation. But then let's look at the roads as well. The old Ojo Road still remains a major alternative, serving the community where I live in and out, and it's in a terrible state.
Yes, I also think that the island, the Lekki Ekpe Expressway belt needs a viable alternative road as opposed to that express because it's under construction. Let me take the real estate industry story. Nigeria needs 21 trillion to bridge the housing deficit. That came from BOI, and the statement was that we have about 28 million housing deficit in Nigeria, saying that out of our 206 million persons who live in Nigeria, 95 million live below poverty line, and as such, difficult for them to access good homes or their own homes. So the conversation is this fund that we need is to boost development within this sector, saying that we also need to subsidize mortgages. Mortgage is not available to many. The average Nigerian doesn't have access to mortgage, and that they want to promote mortgage system and subsidize the interest rates for mortgage to make it more affordable and attractive. They are also wanting to ease the process of accessing the national housing funds. It should be more efficient and it should improve access to funds. That's what the BOI stated. And I think many people don't even know there's something called the National Housing Funds. We should research into it. Government has some policies that are there. Maybe they're not promoting it, but you should research into it and you will take advantage of it.
They should, also bring the National Housing Fund mortgage maximum to a realistic amount now. The limit is terrible compared to the
what is
cost of housing
outside. All right, let's take the Daily Sun major headline. Buhari's minister under fire over insecurity. ASUU strike. Afenifere Ohaneze. Others say Middle Belt Forum. Others say federal government can't borrow money to fund ASUU's position senseless. I really would like to understand this story. Lagos Red Line Rail ready first quarter next year, assures Sanwo-Olu. Russia Ukraine crisis. EU dumps Nigeria in gas supply deal.
Sad.
Doesn't sound good for us at all. Nigerians dying of hunger. Okowa laments. Nigeria, others face energy transition setback over limited international funding. Military airstrikes kill chief terrorist Abdul Karim Boss, 27 others in Katsina. Police kill 8, rescue 6 kidnapped victims. Pantami emerges first African fellow of Chartered Institute of Security. In other news, 50 billion naira Nimasa floating dock rots away at naval dockyard. Nigeria loses 21.5 billion naira annually to neighboring dock facilities. Crack in IPOB as group disown purported Biafra in exile government. West African Student Union honors Uguay. Now, what are we starting with? Major headlines?
Okay.
Let's do the major headlines. I want to understand.
Yes, so the Minister of State for Labour, Festus Keyamo, mentioned that security challenges rocking Nigeria is one of the reasons ASUU has not been able to go back to school. Wow. That, you know, this is happening not just in Nigeria, but the insecurity, the inflation, everything is happening across the world. And he was appealing to parents, that's the Parents Teachers Association, to plead with ASUU so that they can go back to school. So the parents now fired back, saying that that's according to the National Parent Teacher Association of Nigeria, NAPTAN, saying that they are not the employers of ASUU. ASUU was employed by either the state and the federal government, that they don't have any powers to tell ASUU to go back to school, but they can mediate. But first of all, they need to understand what have been agreed. The federal government has set up different committees. We had the NIMI BRICS committee, which is the most latest committee that has been set up. They have not come to say this is what we are going to do. So if they have that on the table, then they invite the NAPTAN to come to that table. They can now mediate and say, okay,
what
this
are we
is
even
where
agreeing to? The last agreement was not complied with.
Fantastic. So they said they don't have that power. Chief of Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, also fired back, saying that this is just the federal government shifting and dodging their responsibility. You are not supposed to be begging parents to beg ASUU. You have had committees, you have agreed to something since 2009, and you have not been able to meet up to your agreement. So what are you coming to the table with? You keep having committees, committee, and they give recommendations which you do not follow. Are you saying that you have failed? You should come out and say you have failed. Arewa spoke about that. I think a Middle Belt Forum also, Afenifere, everybody was blowing hot that this is just failure of the government and is showing that the government is not serious in quality education. These kids have been home for close to 6 months now.
We can't stop talking about it. Right now. Yes, even if it is seemingly just to lament and give updates, we'll just keep talking about ASUU. Mariam, you're going to take the Nimasa.
Yeah, so 4 years after Nimasa acquired a 50 billion naira modular floating dock, the asset is just there, decaying, not doing anything. It says since arriving in Nigeria in 2018, the floating dock has remained idle and abandoned, and management is refusing to put it into use, as you know, according to why they had bought it and government's expectations.
It's just
so. I will just let me just read out some of the figures that are involved in this. So first of all, we have the 50 billion that we bought, and then we're losing an estimated potential revenue of 21.5 billion naira annually to neighboring dock facilities in other countries because we can't do it. Then it says a 3.6 million naira is used daily for the maintenance of this
something that is not in use.
That is not in use. Then we pay 30,000 naira per day as berthing fees to the Nigerian Naval Holdings Limited. So this is something that is supposed to bring us so much profit.
But it's costing us.
It's costing us, and we're losing a lot of money.
We would like to have the Senate committee to look into this and investigate why we're wasting so much funds. Nima, you're going to take the...
I wanted to take the Russia. EU, stopping conversation with us about gas supply. So they've resorted to getting pipeline gas from Algeria, Azerbaijan, and Norway instead of continuing talks with us. And of course, it's not even hard.
Why?
Remember that the European
can we meet the
ambassador
supplies
had spoken to the Minister for Petroleum And, you know, they then gave us hopes like, you know, it was going to happen. But the former chairman, Society of Petroleum Engineers, says that Nigeria is not in the same market position as Russia or Ukraine because we have failed to develop our gas infrastructure. And that summarizes everything.
The entire story. They can't trust us to meet up. Let's move on to the point.
We have to borrow to do the investment now.
Calls for self-defense louder as Nigerians face terrifying insecurity. Security agencies have lost their bites. That's from experts. More states inaugurate defense outfits. Government fears proliferation of light arms. And then we have the story, widows rendered homeless by in-laws cry out for help. Battle Royale in Osun over local government polls, recruitment, loans, others. So somebody wants to take the widow story?
Yes, so
please,
two widows and all their children have been rendered homeless in a community called Eziagbi Ukpa community of Afikpo North local government area of Ogun State. According to the story, their dad or their father had died. He inherited this house from his grandmother alongside his brother. But recently, his cousin came in, gave them a quit notice, which I don't understand. You know, put a quit notice on the building and asked them to evict so that he can renovate the building. Went ahead to demolish their section of the building and renovate, and hasn't even started work on his own side of the building to renovate. Presently, they are homeless and their properties were also destroyed in that demolition.
That's wickedness.
Sitting outside. And the person who ordered the demolition is supposed to be a family member.
How did they expect them
I don't understand. But in the story, they're all calling on government for help, and again and again.
We the people. Moving on to the Nigerian Tribune. Fears over PDP splits into North-South caucus. Military hairstrike kill bandit warlord. We take it that story. NDLE arrest pastors with 3 drums of Nkurumiri in Akwa Ibom. We took that as well. APC, Oyetola hires 11 SANs, 25 other lawyers to tackle Adeleke. We took that as well. Exporters lament as cargo spent 5 months in Apapa airport, Papa seaport for shipment. Train project Lagos begins. Passenger carried by January 2023. Security agents launch manhunts for killer of Lautech students, and Pantami emerges first African Fellow of Chartered Institute of...
So the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, are lamenting that because of the unnecessary delays at our ports, when they're exporting, it's affecting, you know, their business. So the managing director, Dr. George Mogalu, explained that the delays at the port is why Nigerian exports are being rejected when they get to the foreign countries.
Yes.
Because by the time they get to foreign countries, they're looked at, they feel, you know, it looks like they have brought in substandard goods or expired goods, but the truth is that they spend 2 to 3 months here in Nigeria before they are shipped, which takes a few months before they get to their final destination. And he's saying that, you know, there's so many reasons why we have this problem. He says everywhere in the world, you know, the waterways, the inland waterways are, you know, functional. He talked about the Onitsha port needs to be, you know, revamped and business should start going through there. He says rail is very important, but to put all our cargo and everything on the road,
it spoils the road, it slows the economy. As in, it's such simple things that we should do.
Abandon the dock now.
Such simple things. That's all we can take on Front Page Review today. It's Monday. Let's try and lighten up.
God bless this country.
God bless Nigeria.
Leaders that love the country.
Yes, we'll take a break. When we return, we'll go into the hot topic for today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.